Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. We're on Thursday, the 2nd of July. Celtic haven't signed any players as yet, but I'm going to read you out morning. There's a lot of speculation, and I've said that all it is just now is speculation until we know that an agent says that there's been contact made, there's been a bid placed. It's all just speculation. But Celtic have got. Oh, wait a minute. We need to go straight to this, and there is a bit of breaking news this morning. And this will enrage the Celtic fans. We'll get back to all the Celtic news in a minute. But before we go on, Celtic have launched another set of merchandise. Yes, another set of merchandise. I've got to say that when I see it in the tracky top, I think it's okay. I might actually get that for walking about here in the winter time. But then again, it's got those silly cuffs on it, and this I'm not too sure. I'd need to see it in the person. I missed out on all the kit last year because of the Not Another Penny campaign, and I'm still devastated about that. Don't know, I fancied that wee tartan top, and I didn't buy it because of the Not Another Penny campaign. It would just sit in the cupboard like all of them, but I think that that's not too bad. I'm not too sure about this one. That is maybe not. No, I'm not too keen on the t-shirt. Green back. Looks like something you get on print on demand, and then the Celtic. So Celtic have put out more merchandise, and there's the kind of top. What's your thoughts on it? I'm not the keenest on the top, especially not €100. Jesus, I can go to the Adidas shop and get stuff way cheaper. It's absolutely mental. But I've got to say, I could do quite fancy the tracky top, because that's something that I could wear here in the winter time, because you don't need big coats. You just need a wee hoodie in the winter. Oh, and a big shout out to Honest Jim, or whatever his name is, on Twitter, who says, I know nothing about Celtic and I know nothing about what's going on. It's true. I just comment on what's going on at the club. But thanks for your comment and your put me down on the land of Twitterati. I never usually go on Twitter too. I never really read the comments on there, but I just thought I would give you a little mention this morning, because I know that you don't watch the videos. You comment on Twitter, but you don't watch the video, so you don't know what the video is about. Anyway, the pilot green jacket 1980s. It is a bit like that, isn't it? All it needs is the wings, and it is a bit like that, isn't it? The old bomber jacket. The bomber jacket that you got back in the day. Yeah, maybe I won't get it. I don't want to be walking around like Tom Cruise, thinking I'm Maverick or whatever. Yeah, maybe not. We'll give it a miss. And especially that 124 buckaroonies. Jesus. 125 quid for that? Hmm. Yeah, don't worry about us. Nobody knows anything about Celtic at the moment. Mate, I'm loving my life. I've got a brilliant life. I don't know, and you're always going to get hate online. I have a brilliant life. Work is fantastic. What I do on a daily basis is fantastic, and I'm now working with someone really, really special, and I'm looking forward to see where that goes as a consultant for him. But anyway, we move on, because that is the new merchandise that Celtic have brought out this morning. And by the way, tell the haters out there, the person that I'm working with, it wouldn't be possible if I didn't do YouTube. There we go. Just shows you what YouTube can bring to you in your life. Anyway, let's get back to the Celtic news this morning. Right, I'm going to run through some headlines. And this, I've seen this headline come up 2 or 3 times over the last couple of days. Celtic are at risk of Martin O'Neill walking out. I've seen this along various publications online. And it's been an ongoing thing for several days now. Celtic are at risk of Martin O'Neill walking out because of transfers. Let me give you my opinion, because I'm not telling you what's going to happen. But in my opinion, Martin O'Neill will not walk out on Celtic. I'll say that right at the beginning of the season. Mind you, last season I said that Brendan Rodgers would stay at the end of the season. Well, I know, just shows you. But Martin O'Neill is a different kettle of fish from Brendan Rodgers. Once I said that Brendan Rodgers wouldn't walk away before the season started. Once the season started, we're like, what the fuck's really going on at Celtic? Martin O'Neill is a different kettle of fish. Martin O'Neill, was he? I need to have a look at that one, Stephen. Thanks for that. I'll need to have a look at that. I don't usually watch Frank stuff, but since it was Big Roy, and I will watch that because and I'll send it over to my old man as well because he'll love that interview. But anyway, getting back to this headline: Celtic are at risk of Martin O'Neill walking out after Sky journalists update. Celtic are at massive risk of Martin O'Neill walking away from the club as they do not kickstart their summer transfer window soon. The Scottish Premiership champions are yet to bring in a single new face in the summer, despite an inconsistent 25-26 campaign. Many of Celtic targets have moved on to other. How do we know that they were Celtic targets in the first place? It then goes on to say, no, there was another one, wasn't there? That's another public. This is another one. This is another publication. This is more mainstream, this one. And I don't know where they're getting that information from because nobody knows the transfer budget that Celtic have. We're all surmising. We're all adding up. Well, if Celtic are going to sell these players and it gets that amount, Celtic generally spend less than what they bring in. So you're going to say that Celtic are going to spend in the region of 40 million. This is a comment in a publication today. And this is the headline. I'll go with the headline first of all. Martin O'Neill won't accept Celtic's last season's transfer syndrome. And then it goes on to say that principal shareholder Dermot Desmond pledged to back Martin O'Neill with a hefty transfer kitty after the double winning boss signed for another year. That's funny because Martin O'Neill has never said what the transfer kitty is. Martin O'Neill has never said what was said between him and Dermot Desmond. He's not spoken about it once. But this mainstream media says that the champions have not signed anyone, leaving supporters fearing another chaotic transfer window. Yes, I get that. But the principal shareholder pledging to back O'Neill with a hefty transfer kitty, nobody knows. And I think it's just it's unbelievable. Anyway, Celtic have got away with one because we've been linked to the goalkeeper for a number of years now, only because he's Scottish. You can understand why we've been linked to him, because he's Scottish. But thankfully, looks like that we're getting away. We've dodged a bullet, as they say, because Angus Gunn, it looks like Angus Gunn is getting ready to move to the MLS. Yes! Yes, it looks like according to Sky Sports, the 30-year-old is in talks with an MLS side after he was released by Nottingham Forest. Whoop, 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 whoop. That's the best news that we've had all day, isn't it? Because let's face it, Angus Gunn is one of the worst goalkeepers ever, and I wouldn't want him anywhere near Celtic, and especially after seeing him at the World Cup with Scotland. Anyway, another piece of news, a bit of transfer speculation. It's not really speculation because Celtic they've been linked with the player, but he was on loan at another club in England. He was on loan from Tottenham. Now, Celtic have a good relationship with Spurs off the pitch, in the boardroom, players-wise. Not fans-wise, I get that. But Preston North End have seemingly missed their chance to trigger a deal for Tottenham's Alfie Devine, despite activating their purchase option. The purchase option meant that they had to purchase before the 1st of July. They have not managed to agree terms with the player. The player isn't convinced that staying at Preston North End is his best move. Alfie Devine has been linked with Celtic. It would take a fee of around about £6 million, £6 million that we paid Spurs for Cameron Carter Vickers, £6 million that we paid for Austin Trusty, £6 million that we paid for Jota, £6 million that we paid for many players over the piece. Is that the type of player that manager Martin O'Neill will want to go for? I'm not too sure, but it's a player that we have been linked with in the past, and it looks like that Celtic may have, if they wish, to take up the opportunity to place an offer for the player. And that's where it falls down, because Celtic don't make offers for players. And there's lots of speculation about a Celtic, about Rio Hatate um, leaving the club this summer. It was suggested that Rio Hatate said that he wants to leave the club. He told the club that he wants to leave. And there's lots of speculation about who his replacement may be. Elliot Watts is one that's been mentioned lots of times, but we will wait and see what happens with that one. Another one that was kicking around in the last transfer window was another player, Tawanda, at Motherwell. And there's a lot of publications now running the story that Celtic are going to miss out on Tawanda. I think that when you look at the way that Martin O'Neill saw the team last season, we have to remember that the team last year, under Martin O'Neill, was bullied around the pitch. And I think that Martin O'Neill will want to bring in more physicality to the team. Does players like Tawanda give you that physicality? I can understand why we're being linked with the Kieran Bowie story, but Kieran Bowie at 10 million is just never going to happen at Celtic. Celtic missed the boat for getting the wee lad for Kirkcaldy for 6 million. There are no way they're going to pay 10 million. But then again, if it comes to the stage that we need to bring in Scottish players because we are lacking Scottish players, we've just lost a Scottish player that was always in and around the squad for European games. We need to bring in another player. Do we have a player that's Scottish that can move up from the academy to take Stephen Welsh's place on the bench? Or do we go out and spend some good money? I mean, is there anybody that was at the World Cup, for instance, that's Scottish that might want to come to Celtic that would improve the team? I'd suggest not. And then there's still the situation that we've got to address with Tony Ralston. Tony Ralston's going into the last year of his contract. He's the only player that was coming towards the end of his contract that did not get a contract extension last season. For me, that's a worrying scenario. It's just as worrying as it was when it was Greg Taylor going into the last year of his contract. Greg Taylor was once valued at around about £8 million for Celtic, and he was allowed to. The Celtic totally mucked up. And rather than sell Greg Taylor, they believed that they would try and persuade him to stay. If Greg Taylor couldn't get into the Scotland team because of Kieran Tierney, there is absolutely no chance on this planet that Kieran Tierney was going to, that Greg Taylor was going to stay at Celtic, and Celtic should have had words with Greg, and Greg would have told them his fears and said, "Well, I'm not playing second fiddle to him. He's kept him out of the international team long enough. They should have sold him, but they allowed Greg to walk away for nothing." Should that happen to Tony Ralston? Some people will say yes. Should happen to Tony Ralston. Let him walk away for nothing. Let him go. But I think that Celtic should cash in on him, and but this is a business point of view. But you never know. I can see Tony Ralston leaving for nothing, nothing at the end of the season. Anyway, lots of speculation. There's just something popped up. Sorry, I'm just watching. I'm watching a video. This. I'm going to show you. I know that England play last night. I didn't watch it. I heard it was on. I heard it on the telly. Um, Doak's moved for 25 million. Doak went to Liverpool. Yeah, but Celtic allowed him to go for 450 grand. There's no point in talking about a player that's left Celtic for pennies. don't know. So anyway, I'm going to show you this because it just this guy should be really embarrassed with himself. This was when there was a shot and goal. Watch the little guy here, little guy done in the red, throws his beer, fucking yes! And then he looks and it hits the post. It's not a goal. He's just realised I've just made a tit of myself. I've made a tit of myself. There he goes again. Oh, fatty throws the beer. There we go. Launches his beer like a right knobhead. See anybody that throws beer like that? You're a plonker. There's no need for it. You know, you're just a grade A. And this guy here is a grade A knob. If you're one of those people that do that at concerts, you're a grade A knob. Anyway, that's how I'm going to finish this morning. No, it's not. Let's get into some of the comments this morning and see what you're saying to it, you lovely people. Roy Aiken was on the Franks podcast. I'm going to check that one out. He did in 2005, but all right, it was because his wife was still 6 months Aston Villa. Don't blame him. He wouldn't walk out on Celtic. Martin O'Neill will not walk out on Celtic. Let's just put that out there. I'm going to keep saying this. Martin O'Neill will be here for 1 year, and the board won't have ambitions to fully back him unless he was here for 3 more years. That's an interesting one. Celtic should have signed players by now. Well, you would kind of hope that Celtic would sign players by now. It is July the 2nd. You know, we've had almost a week now of pre-season training. Martin O'Neill will be looking at the threadbare squad around first team players. So, you know, there will be younger players that's came in from that's on the periphery of the first team that Martin O'Neill will be looking at. But Martin O'Neill will also know that, you know, looking back at the games over last year, analysing games where we were bullied by Hearts, you know, Motherwell, I'm glad that the Motherwell manager left in the summer because I think that he could have really pushed his team on. That was a big loss for Motherwell. And I think that McInnes going to Rangers is the best thing ever because they're going full on staunch. And when it gets to December and they want to sack him because he's got them out of Europe and he's just been a complete disaster. You've got to remember, McInnes' record in Europe as manager is woeful. Absolutely woeful. But anyway, who cares about them? I'm hoping that we've been waiting on a new tax year to sign players, or am I stupid? The tax year started in April for that, but I know what you're saying. For the end of the accounts, well, the end of the accounts usually runs to the end of the season, and that's past now. Celtic have all the new cash-ins. Who knows? Who knows? Sky, ITV, BBC love shoving it up Celtic. Fuck the mainstream media pricks. And it's not just them, by the way. There is publications that are out there that are in the paper sphere. What a shit keeper. Barkas was worse. Yeah, this is very true. Man United wanted Angus Gunn. He's 30, he's bish. Yeah, so he did. Gunn got the bullet. He did that. Hope you all have World Cup final tickets at Parkhead. Haha. 20 quid a pop for some chicken strippers. What's going on with the shares? Noticed in June they went up to 250 and then back down again. Mate, share prices across the board. It's not just the Celtic share price that's done that. I've shares that I have done similar. So the prices rise and drop with the stock exchange, and I've seen shares that I had went up to £358 this year. They were at 140 when I bought them. But they've came back down a bit. It's the stock exchange. It's nothing to worry about. It's nothing that Celtic are doing. Celtic transfer war chest is a slab of ginger and a box of lollipops. Alfie Design was one of the best players Martin was looking at when he watched Preston. This is very true. And I'm thinking if that deal was to happen, don't know, you can definitely say it's a Martin O'Neill player. As we stand, we're saving $1 million a month on wages with all the players that have left. It wouldn't surprise me if it was a bit more than $1 million, but That's a chunk of money, isn't it? Rio has got the club to show interest in him, not kicking the doors in for him. Rio has to get a club to show interest in him. Rio's not had anyone. I think that there was an offer. Celtic turned down an offer a few years ago for Rio Hatate for 10 million, and I think that Rio really spat the dummy out and never got back to it. Nottingham emailed their manager at 11:58 to give him the boot before the midnight deadline. Yeah, there you go. We let Dokes leave. Can't get a game at Liverpool for Dokes. Right. He's worth about 20 million. But anyway, who cares about Dokes? There's a couple of super chats coming in from Perth Luxury, coming in from Australia. Good morning, good afternoon to you. We'll bomb the Champions League qualifying. The board will say no money because of that, and the usual scraping and scrounging will continue. Sack the board. Rumours. Dermot Desmond is readying the Stevie Clark bat sign. I don't think so. The Stevie Clark bat sign's not a thing. Let's not even go down that road. But thank you for your super chat this morning, mate, and I hope you are well. As they say, see the Scottish video fans booing the Sun and Celtic talking Boston. Yes, and the thing is Boston has a big Celtic supporting community. There's quite a big Celtic supporters club in Boston, and you can see Celtic tops going around Boston quite regular. So yeah, but it just shows you Scotland fans, isn't it? Celtic always do the business late. Everyone is just impatient. Every transfer window is the same every single year. Keep the faith. Why are you glad he left Scottish football, Baz? Because I think that he would have been. I think he's someone that we could push Celtic all the way. Mate, talking about the Motherwell manager, I'm thinking that on a personal note, I think that it would be good for Scottish football, but the less really good top quality managers that are there, more chance of Celtic winning the treble. It's just, yeah, don't mean it's great for Scottish football. It's not great for Scottish football he's left, but from a Celtic perspective, it's just purely that, mate. It's just purely that. That's why I'm glad that he's left and he's not pushing. If he's got money at Motherwell, I think that they could have been really pushing for top 3 this season. Be interesting to see what the new guy does. But I think that he was that good. And the fact that a lot of Celtic fans wanted him as manager, he could definitely have put a lot of pressure on Celtic and Hearts, because we are the top 2 clubs, Celtic and Hearts. Just putting that out there. The big left back at Motherwell, won't even try his name, but I'm not even going to talk about players. Doak was transferred last summer for 25 million. People talking about Doak. And I'll jump to the end of that. Martin goes to the board and they bring in Robbie just to annoy the fans. I don't think that. And Mo says that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing that he left Scottish football. I think it's he's one manager that could have really pushed us for the title. I'm going to say it. And the fact that he's not there, it's good for Celtic. Anyway, people are never happy, are they? And that's been done and dusted for this morning. Sack the board, and the next board doesn't change what Desmond, the owner, says. Exactly. Don't know, people saying sack the board is going to make no difference. So much for board changes this summer. We're well into the summer. We're into July. There's been no board changes. There has been little information coming out of Celtic. But people seem to think that Martin O'Neill's going to leave. I'm going to say that Martin O'Neill will be here to the end of the season. Even Martin O'Neill will say, look, I might not be here to the end of the season. If results go the wrong way, Martin knows that he'll be pushed out the door, just like any other manager. On that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans. Wherever you are, if the Huns get Ferguson, the board must go. Are you talking about Lewis Ferguson? They can get Lewis Ferguson all they want. I don't rate him really as a player. I didn't think he was that great at Aberdeen, and he didn't cause as much trouble then. But anyway, it's all about opinions. Have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world. Where's the stop button? There we go.